Hey everyone, thank you so much for clicking on this Netflix review. The fact that you're willing to sacrifice a few minutes out of your day to consume my content really does mean the world to me. And today we're going to be talking about the new South Korean Netflix film, Space Sweepers. This film, honestly, I loved it. I loved every single second of it. And straight away, I'm just going to say, watch this movie. Seriously, watch this movie. So Space Sweepers is an absolutely amazing science fiction epic. And it is just a ton of fun. It's awesome. It's engaging. A wonderfully realized original world that you can really immerse yourself in. I think that's the strongest aspect of this film. The world building was incredible. I will say it wasn't as fleshed out as it could have been. I was still left asking a lot of questions by the end of the film. But it was sufficient in what it gave me, and I just really thoroughly enjoyed what I was able to immerse myself in. So a brief breakdown of the film is we live in this dystopian future where humanity is starting to leave Earth. While majority is still left on the planet, the elite are in space, and it looks like they're moving to Mars. And so our main characters are a crew of space sweepers. Basically, they make sure they deal with the space junk, old satellites and everything that's busy floating around in space. They track it down, they locate it, and then they sell that scrap for money. And that's how they survive. But then they come across a child, an android that has the potential to kill a ton of people because it's got a bomb programmed into it. And now they've got to figure out how they're going to deal with the situation they've just found in. And that's a rough summary of this film that I just had a great time watching. So I know I've been talking about just how great the world building in this film was, but seriously, if you are a science fiction fanatic, anything from Star Wars to Mass Effect, Star Trek, anything with unique world building, then this is something you're going to want to watch. I really loved the futuristic take on everything. There was a mix of the exciting, glimmery, shiny, optimistic future mixed with the really rough, grit and grumbly future. The movie is able to perfectly match a optimistic future and that aesthetic, the shiny, glimmery future that we want the future to be. And it matches it perfectly with the rundown, gritty future that we really don't want. If you're a fan of Mass Effect, a perfect comparison would be this film is able to make the future look both like the Citadel and Omega. It's got that upper class classiness about it, and then it's got that rundown grittiness about it, and it's able to merge it perfectly in a really encapsulating, engaging way. The special effects in this movie, whether it's a CG or practical, all just looked phenomenal. There were probably only 2 sequences in the whole movie where I watched it and I was like, that CG is a little bit wonky, but it's definitely serviceable. There's never any bad CGI, there's just noticeable CGI. And so it was incredibly easy to engage yourself in this movie and watch it and enjoy it and be transported into this world. Everything was different. Even things as simple as smartphones were incredibly complex devices that were just awesome. This is a future that, while isn't ideal, feels lived in and feels realistic. The characters themselves were also just a lot of fun to get to know. Everyone was fleshed out. Everyone had decent backstories. Everyone had a lot of development. It was a lot of fun to watch a movie where it felt like the characters were cared about by the creators. And what I mean by that is everyone from the performers to obviously the scriptwriters and directors had such care for these characters and what their motivations were, and they wanted to tell their story in a compelling way. This movie definitely feels like a lot of people worked really, really hard to create something that is of a high quality for the consumer to enjoy. Look, at the end of the day, it is not a perfect movie, and I feel like it might lose a few people, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's one of the most enjoyable movies I've watched this year. To be 100% honest, Netflix has had a few duds this year, but I think this year so far for movies and series has been exceptional, and this movie has definitely followed in that vein. This is a movie that I really enjoyed, and it's one of those movies where at the end I didn't want it to end. I wanted to be able to keep watching this movie. I wanted to keep learning about this world. I wanted to keep engaging with these characters. It was a lot of fun. From beginning to end, I was on the edge of my seat, completely engrossed in this movie. So as I mentioned earlier, though, just coming to an end, it is a South Korean film, and so you can either watch it in Korean or in English dub and everything. But ultimately, like, I know I always bring up this thing of sub versus dub. The dub in this was really good as well. And so if you don't want to have to read subtitles, watch it with the dub. I didn't have a problem with it. I thought the dubbing actors were quite good as well. But guys, thank you so much for watching this review. It really means the world to me when you take time out of your day to watch my content. I hope you have a fantastic day. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to my channel, comment down below if you enjoyed this movie. If you didn't, I would love to know your opinions on it. And I hope to see you again in another video.